Welcome to episode 2 of the Deep Blue podcast, brought to you by Cobalt Consulting. For those of you who need a quick introduction to us, Cobalt Consulting are a leading consultancy firm focused on business development and e-commerce. We specialise across LinkedIn and Amazon. The purpose of these podcasts are to provide inspiration for future generations of talent, but to also allow you to hear from successful entrepreneurs within the world of business. Episode 2 is going to delve into a person who has an international background. He's a keen table tennis player and is a published author as well, has led a number of successful businesses here in the UK and has come from very humble beginnings as well. So our guest today is Mr. Biao Wang. Biao, very nice to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So Biao, thanks for joining us today. What we'd like to do is delve into your past, your present, and perhaps some of the future as well. But first of all, as with all of our guests, what we'd like to do is take it back to the very beginning. So could you give us a little bit more information about your first job? What was your first job that you went into?
My first job was when I was 8. I used to catch fish and eels from the river and pick wild herbs from the mountains to sell to the people in the village. I gave all my money to my parents to help with food. From that, I learned the negotiation and persuasion skills, how to talk to people, how to spot what others needed, and how to build trust, most importantly. It also, I think, has taught me discipline, hard work, and how to create the value with whatever you have.
That's great. A very humble beginnings there, Biao. And clearly that's, the life skills you've learned there have really been critical in helping you evolve your entrepreneurship going forward, the types of businesses you've established and where you are today. And we'll come on to talk about where you are today a little bit later. But can you just walk us through how your career evolved from there? So from, catching eels and picking herbs in China and sort of, rural, very humble beginnings to how you sort of evolved into the business world and setting up businesses and there forward.
Yeah, okay. I think my journey started in a small village in Ningbo, China. When I was young, we had very little. But I remember I was always eager to learn. As a teenager, I worked on farms after school. Later, I came to the UK to study, completed my MBA degree, and started my own business to advise companies on trade, business, and investment between China and the UK. Also, I'm a founder of an international bespoke tailoring business and sit on the board of a British fuel production company.
Wow. Okay. So quite a few businesses that you've helped along the way and you've been established with. And clearly you mentioned about being within the sort of tailoring business. You've come dressed very appropriately today to obviously show off the goods of the trade.
Yeah, I would like to promote the dressing suits and ties still, I think, ideal for business.
And do you think that's quite important in today's age, the way you dress, the way you turn up for business, and particularly when we come on to talk about sort of Anglo-Chinese businesses, how important do you feel that?
I think wearing suits, like me, if I go for a business meeting, if I wear a handmade bespoke suits, and it'll make me more confident. So when you're confident, when you go to negotiate with your clients or any people, you feel you're confident and then you'll do well. So I think it's a bespoke team not only to look but also bring your confidence, and especially also I think where I come from in China, so wearing suits is important. Well, it's showing that you want to be serious, want to do business seriously with them. So yeah, I think it's important in the UK also. Although people are thinking of casual, wearing casual now, but I think eventually we'll come back the suits and the ties And yeah, so I think that eventually they will come back, and I think it's a part of the important British culture as well.
So, Biao, you've mentioned your beginnings there in China, the relevance of wearing suits, obviously, and you feel it might come full circle, and the importance of sort of projecting yourselves as well and being in business meetings. What would you say are the biggest sort of barriers between British businesses and Chinese businesses today?
Yeah, I think it's many British companies expect quick wins in China, but successful business in China normally comes after building relationships and trust. Also, China is not one single market. Every region is different with its own culture, policies, and a business style.
Yeah, and that piece around building those relationships as well. Can you give us some sort of practical examples of what you feel some British firms, yeah, miss out on or they overlook in doing business with China?
Yeah, because I work with so many British companies. So they normally rush to China, want to do business, but they forget that in China, it's normally when you want to do business with them, you go out for a meal with them, start to build a relationship. They might ask you some personal question during the meal, but it's part of the process. And as soon as you build the relationship and trust, then it's much easier to do business with China. So that's why I do sometime with British company. I do a training program with them, understand about Chinese culture, and so how to build relationship with and trust with the Chinese clients. So yeah, so it's so after that, they are more likely successful in China. So yeah, I think that's really one of the key factors in China of doing business in China
Yeah,
to be successful there.
brilliant. And I know we've had a conversation in the past around the culture and the expectations, perhaps bringing a gift to a meeting when you're meeting somebody for the first time, a certain type of gift and the way you
That's right.
accept and
Yep.
give business
The big
cards.
have yeah, two hands as well, and make sure you read it. Even it's in Chinese, you pretend to read it and then put in the pocket. Instead of you get the card and then put in the pocket. It's quite rude. So yeah, you use two hands to receive the card and read a little bit and then put in the pocket. So yeah, these small things but makes huge difference.
So how do you feel the relationships are between Chinese and UK businesses today?
I think it's steady. The business is quite steady, but cautious. We can see that both sides still want to do more business. Recently, we can see that more Chinese companies are entering into the UK market, such as electric cars. So we mentioned about it, and renewable energy, and also online retail. I think smart company, they are all adapting, but not retreating really.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you talked a bit about the Chinese sort of vehicles. You only have to drive down the road and you see there's a number of sort of Chinese cars on the road, which if you go back 5 or 10 years ago, just weren't there. So seem to be developing. Um, in terms of the relationship between the UK and China, obviously there have been tensions with the US and China recently around tariffs and so on. Do you think that has accelerated the the want for change for Chinese businesses to be maybe less reliant on the US market, or how do you feel that's had an impact?
Yes, I think when situation like that, a lot of Chinese companies now diverse their attention to European market and Asia as well instead of relying on the United States, because it's at the moment United States quite unpredictable about the tariffs. So that's why it's you can see more and more Chinese companies are coming here, especially the companies. So for our business, that's why we are so busy, because a lot of Chinese company want to get some advice from us and how to get to the UK market and help. So we try to help them out.
And with that volatility that's sort of going on in the market at the moment, what do you hear from sort of Chinese businesses in terms of what they would like to do maybe we're partnering with businesses in Europe or maybe the UK. What are the noises that are coming out there? What are the real wants that they have?
Yeah, I think that a lot of Chinese companies are become quite cautious, and they are doing more due diligence. But what I hear, but I think for them is they are really looking for a lot of them actually. They are looking for reliable UK business partners. What I hear most is they say they don't really want. Well, they don't just want a local agent, but they want someone who can guide them properly.
And then I know we spoke a little bit about this offline, and we've spoken about this previously. But with the language barrier between the Chinese and say the UK businesses that are interacting, how important do you feel that is to maybe have someone present? Like we talked earlier about having a translator and the importance of a translator. How important is that, and how important do you feel that is to sort of really convey sort of messages between both parties?
Yeah, I think in terms of the translator, it's because different industry, the English language terminology is different. So that's why it's important to find the right translator, but not only a translator, not only translate the words, but most importantly, the person who's helping you to translate, make sure that they understand your business. I think that's really the key. And then it's also important, I think, you have to use a long-term translator instead of each time when you need them and you get a translator and then next time get different translator. So it's not viable. So it's important really to find an ideal translator and use the translator for in long term.
Yeah, absolutely. The consistency seems to be quite important in that sort of relationship and the building of it and the success going forwards. So Biao, we talked a lot about Chinese UK relationships and doing business, but what are the key values that you feel that Chinese businesses bring to the UK?
I think they bring speed, efficiency, and speed and discipline as well, and the long-term thinking. So when Chinese companies come to the UK, they really want to improve and grow together, and not just sell their products or service.
And building on that, what practical advice would you give to a company that's either wants to work with businesses in China, that's either sourcing or selling Chinese products? What practical advice would you give to a UK business?
I think most importantly, visit if you can. Build, as I mentioned in previously, build a strong relationship and a trust with your Chinese partners and suppliers in China, and then work with someone who understands Chinese culture well. And again, I mentioned before that use a long-term translator who understand your business, but not just the words. I think most importantly is to register and protect your trademark in China before going there. So I think these steps can save you a lot of problems in the future.
Excellent. And quite topical actually that we're speaking today. We've just seen the acquisition of Seconomy by JD.com, a multi-billion-dollar takeover to give the Chinese business a place in Europe and a foothold in Europe. But what's your view on that particular acquisition and also JD.com? Can you just give us a bit of information about sort of how they're positioned?
JD.com is one of the biggest online retailers in China now, in the world actually, they used to compete with Alibaba. So Alibaba is a huge online retailer. I think it's the biggest online retail in the world. But DJ.com, they focus on the quality, so they have to filter the manufacturers and the suppliers. So make sure the people are selling using their platform and focus on the quality, not just cheap products. So that's why they're doing well. And you would probably will see more. Actually, there will be probably buying more foreign company, German company, but they're using Germany as a stepstone in the future to sell their products and worldwide, especially in Europe, in the UK as well. And I think that probably they will come to the UK as well and setting up a warehouse, and maybe will buy a online retail here in the UK as well. So yeah, they're a super rich company as well. So I think they're doing well.
Absolutely. And do you feel they're looking to give Amazon a challenge within the marketplace? So typically, within Europe and maybe sort of the US, Amazon very dominant force for online retail. How do you feel they're looking to compete against the likes of Amazon?
I think definitely they can compete because in Amazon, a lot of people expect good quality products. So now DJ is focused on the good quality, high quality products. So I think definitely they will give a challenge to Amazon, and they're also quite super rich, so they got the money. So they're investing a lot. I think customer care was not only you just sell, but it's important thing. So you have to invest in the customer care service. So yeah, definitely they will compete with eBay and Amazon in the UK.
Brilliant. So a sign of things to come for the future, we feel.
Good qualities products from China.
Fantastic. And then on that particular note, so obviously you work with a lot of UK businesses, you provide advice on doing business with Chinese businesses as well. If you were to consult with a CEO of a big company and they were interested in working with China, what would your words of advice be to a UK-based CEO?
Well, I think China's a huge country with its big differences between provinces. If your company has any international ambitions, and I think you should think about China, even if you think China is not for you right now, but China's economy, technology, and consumer power will likely affect your business in the near future.
Biao, in your opinion, what is one trend that UK businesses aren't really focused on at this point in time?
I think when I talk with a lot of British companies, actually, they are not, they ignored the second and the third tier cities, cities like Ningbo and but these places are growing so fast, and with the rising incomes and also less competition there. So yeah, so it's really, I think it's important really. Also need to focus on these cities because they're getting wealthier, and also China has a growing demand for elderly care products due to the increasing aging population. So if any British company, they are in the elderly care products, especially design, so there's huge opportunity there in China. So although it's one trend, but I think it's I may need to mention that I think there's a huge opportunity there for the elderly care products in China for British companies.
Excellent. And you mentioned there about some of the different regions within China. So Ningbo maybe being sort of a second tier region within China. Could you talk about the different sort of regions of China and sort of how it varies and how it's maybe perceived in the Western world?
So a lot of British companies, they know, oh, it's they want to go to China, they want to go to Shanghai, they want to go to Beijing, and they want to go to Guangzhou as well. So these are the biggest cities. But these cities are all super wealthy, and they have a lot of wealthy people there and a huge consumer there. But actually, the second, third tier city like Ningbo and a third tier city like Wenzhou, they are growing so fast because a lot of manufacturing bases are there, and then a lot of what owner the business is so wealthy, and so I think that this important thing is overall China is getting very wealthy, and so yeah, when the British company go there, they not only focus on big city but second, third tier city, also different regions. For example, north, east, south, and west, all different, culturally different, and like south, they are more focused on the manufacturing of the all kind of the things, but most importantly is the technology. So a lot. That's why Huawei is headquartered there as well. So they manufacture a lot of equipment like batteries. So there, but east coast of China more focused on the small electrical products. So a lot of manufacturing there, and north more focused on textiles, all these things, and the west are more focused on the I think the food manufacturing there. And so each region different. That's why before you go to China, you need to really study what you're going to sell or what you're going to provide in the service in China. Then focus on the region area, but not just the big cities, but second and third tier cities are equally important.
And do you feel there is missed opportunity there because of that lack of maybe understanding of the different regions and the different cities and how these regions can contribute towards UK businesses? Do you feel there's missed opportunity there, and how do you see that evolving maybe going?
Yeah, definitely. I think missed opportunity there because as I mentioned before, every region is different with different culture, policy, but business style and a different industry what they focus on. So that's why I always, when I talk with a British company, it's really important to have a proper business plan and market research as well, strategy. So these kind of things and can solve a lot problem. Also make you feel more confident when you're expanding to China to the different cities. Yeah, so I think it's really important to work with the people who understand China, and then it will come up with a proper business plan, hopefully in the future.
Excellent. So Biao, I know we've spoken before about leaders of business entrepreneurship clubs in China and the importance or the gravitas they hold within the Chinese market. How influential or important do you feel they are to doing business within China as well?
I think they are really essential for the network, for all the entrepreneurs gathered together to talk about the future, the trend of the future of the business, and also a lot of them, they have a lack of knowledge about overseas markets. So when they gather together, they share the knowledge, and I see that a lot of them actually they are making plans, and they like a few months time, a group of entrepreneurs coming to the UK, they come together and then to explore the market. So, because of the network together, so I think we could become more powerful and stronger. So that's why I think it's really important, especially when they are looking to expand their business abroad. And without these entrepreneur hub to help each other, and I think it will be difficult. But that's why I think for the entrepreneur network or hubs or clubs in China is getting very popular. So each city where you go, they have their own clubs and hubs there for people, for the entrepreneur people, they network and help each other.
So Biao, you mentioned trademarks earlier there, and sort of the importance of having that as an aspect. How important is that, do you feel, from a UK perspective if they're doing business in China?
Yeah, I think it's essential. Before going to China to promote your business, you must register and protect your trademark in China. As I have so many cases, and a lot of British companies, they come to me. They said, "Oh, someone in China registered their trademark, and how they should go about it, whether they should use solicitor or how to get the trademark back." So it's sometimes it's too late, because if Chinese company or Chinese person register your trademark in China legally, they own the trademark. So legally, you are not allowed actually go to China to promote your business if you're using the same logo or the same company's name. So that's why I think it's really not only important, I think it's vital really for you to register and protect your trademark before you go to China. Even your company name, I think you should be registered as well. It's quite easy to do it actually. It costs about it depends how many category you want to register. So cost between £200 to £500, but at least you know when you go to China, when you promote your business, it's safe. So that's why I think, so every time when I talk with British company, I will ask them, oh, have you registered your trademark in China? If they say no, then I will give them advice on how to register them. So they must do it before they go to China.
Absolutely. It sounds as though that's a real small item that could be easily overlooked, but it's critically important to the success of trade.
It's very small. I think in most of company in the UK, they ignore it. They just, oh, okay, I go to China to promote our business and a huge market in China there. But then they forgot that they actually smothered part. They forgot to protect their own business trademark, and then sometimes too late.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Biao. And we're going to lead up to our last question now, which we always ask our guests. And I'd like to know what's one thing that you can't live without? So either in business or it could be something in your personal life, but what is one thing you feel you cannot live without?
All right. Okay. I think in business, it's my notebook. That's where I write down ideas. Simple tools, but they keep me grounded. On my personal level, it's play table tennis. It keeps me sharp, focused, and agile in both my mind and the body.
Excellent. I'll have to give you a game sometime, but please
Yes.
go easy on me.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I will.
So that was Mr. Biao Wang there today, joining us on episode 2 of the Deep Blue podcast. Seasoned entrepreneur from humble beginnings in China, now helping businesses in the UK to partner with Chinese organizations. It's clear from our conversation today there's still a lot more potential, and that firms should be thinking about their relationships with Chinese businesses more seriously. Thanks very much for joining us today. If you like this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.